So, hello students. Hello students. So today we are going to solve a full-fledged cash flow statement. Okay, as we already know that cash flow statement consists of three activities. That is operating activity, then investing activity, and lastly financing activity. Okay, financing activity. We add the sum of these three. Okay, that is net cash flow from net cash flow during the year. Okay, and then what we add to this is cash and cash equivalent. Okay, when at the beginning, when we add this, we will now add this two. Okay, and the sum of these two should be equal to cash and cash equivalent at the end of the year, which means that this opening plus net cash flow during the year should be equal to the closing cash and cash equivalent in the end. Okay, so this is the overall gist which will be done in the cash flow statement. Okay, however, if you see the question is too long. Okay, looking at the question, we have to, it will take a time if we actually don't know the steps, or if we randomly do the cash flow statement. Therefore, there has to be some steps. Okay, there has to be some steps that needs to be followed. Okay, if you follow these steps, what will happen, will save a lot of time. Okay, because cash flow statement is of 6 marks, and uh, for a 6 marks question, it is not wise to spend more than 7 to 8 minutes. Okay, therefore, for a 6 marks question, should not spend more than 7 to 8 minutes. This is the maximum time that is allotted for 6 marks question. Okay, so therefore what I suggest is you should follow the steps. Once you follow the steps, you know what to find, where to find, you know where to look for the informations, and finally you'll get the answers. Okay, so let us understand the steps first. The first step is read the additional information. Additional information. Where is the additional information? This is the additional information which is given at the bottom of the question. You read from the last. Okay, read the additional information where it is given at the bottom of question. Okay, and what to do? Make necessary ledgers. Make necessary ledgers, like for example provision for tax account, fixed asset account, accumulated depreciation account. Okay, so these are the accounts that you need to make first. Okay, you look at the adjustment and then make the account. For example, in this question, yes, accumulated depreciation is given, so you'll have to make accumulated depreciation account. Obviously, fixed assets account. If it is machinery, whatever, it's, you have to make the fixed assets account. What else? Okay, investment is there, you have to make investment account. Then there is tax paid, and is there any provision? Just in case provision is there, that means you have to make provision for tax account also. Okay, so you need to make this four account very first. Okay, once you make this four account, you balance the ledger, you find the balancing figure. Okay, um, and then once you make this ledger, the second step is calculation of net profit before tax and extraordinary items. Okay, next, profit before tax and extraordinary items. Once you calculate net profit before tax and extraordinary items, you put the amount in the cash flow, because you need to start with operating activity, and operating activity start with net profit before tax and extraordinary items. Okay, now step number 3. In step number 3, you need to find adjustment, or you need to do the adjustment of non-cash and non-operating activity. So where will I get non-cash and non-operating activity? It's very simple. You should look for additional info. Okay, for non-operating also you should look for additional info. Okay, and also the ledger, that you made in step 1. Okay, also ledger made in step 1. So this are the information where you might look, and for the non-cash and non-operating items. Is that clear? Understood. For adjustment of non-cash and non-operating, look into additional information and also the ledger you made in step 1. After doing step 3, go to step 4. What is step 4? Because after an adjustment of non-cash and non-operating activity, what do you get? You get operating profit before working capital. So operating profit before working capital changes, which means again working capital is increase or decrease of current asset and current liability. So you find, and where will you find current asset and current liability? So current asset will find in the asset side and current liability in the liability side. Clear? And the adjustment of these two was taught in the separate video. Next, after doing this, step 5, you subtract tax. Subtract the tax paid. Okay. Once you subtract the tax, what do you get? Net cash flow from or used in operating activity. So, there are 5 steps of finding cash flow from operating activity, in other words. Okay. Now the question becomes very easy. Okay. Now we go to step 6. Step 6. Step 6 includes uh, cash inflow and outflow in investing activity. Okay. Investing activity. Now, so where to find this cash inflow and outflow of investing activity? Increase or decrease in fixed asset or non-current assets. Also, any income related to non-current asset, that is interest received, dividend received, or rent received. So, okay, so these are your this will be also treated as investing activity. Why? Because these interest or this income are related or incidental to the fixed asset or non-current asset. So any increase or decrease in the fixed asset or non-current asset and any income related thereto will be recorded in investing activity. Clear, guys? Very good. Now, step number 7, cash inflow or outflow from financing activities. Okay, so where to find cash inflow and outflow from financing activity? Very easy, children. You need to see the capital structure of the company. What? The capital structure of the company. Okay, capital structure of the company. Now, so where do you find capital structure? Tell me. Very easy, children. You can find capital structure under shareholders fund share capital, which includes equity and preference shares. Also, long-term borrowings. Also, short-term borrowings. So, you need to look in these items for items of financing activity. So, you need to look under these headings for items in the financing activities. After doing all this, the last step is the number 8, step number 8. Okay, adding cash and cash equivalent at the beginning to operating plus investing plus financing activities. Okay, once you add this, should be equal to cash and cash equivalent at the end. Beginning means opening and end means closing. Okay, so what is included in cash and cash equivalent? Cash and cash equivalent includes cash in hand. Okay, cash in bank. Okay, marketable securities, marketable securities, and last, current investment. Okay, so we can summarize again. If you want me to summarize, first step, I'll summarize this, the whole steps of solving cash flow statement. We'll always remember, children, will always uh, follow these steps to solve the full cash flow statement. Okay, the first step is read the additional information and make necessary ledger for provision for tax, fixed asset, or accumulated depreciation account. Once you do the step number 2 is calculation of net profit before tax. Okay, after calculation of net profit before tax, you can do adjustment of non-cash and non-operating activity. What is non-cash and where do you get non-cash and non-operating activity? In the additional information or the ledger that we have done in step 1. Step number 4, operating profit before working capital changes, which means working capital includes current liability and current asset and current liability. So increase and decrease of current asset and current liability will be actually recorded up after operating profit before working capital changes. Whatever you get, after that you write tax paid, and after paying the tax, you get the net cash flow or use from operating activity. Okay, then step number 6 includes cash inflow or outflow in investing activity. So where to find the items of investing activity? Very simple, fixed asset or non-current asset. Increase or decrease in fixed asset or non-current asset will be actually investing activity. Also, any income from fixed asset, that is interest received, dividend received, rent received, will also be considered as investing activity. Okay. Step number 7, calculate cash inflow or outflow from financing activity. So where to find items of financing activity? Very simple, children, in the capital structure. Okay. Answer, where to find capital structure? Under shareholders funds, share capital. Under non-current liability, long-term borrowings. Under current liability, short-term borrowings. So items under this will be considered as cash flow from financing activity. One more thing, children, any expenses paid on these items will also be treated as cash flow from financing activity. For example, dividend paid, interest paid. So these are the items which will be also considered as financing activity. Okay. Finally, step number 8, where you add cash and cash equivalent at the beginning to total of operating activity, total of investing activity, total of financing activity. Okay, you add this and it should be always equal to cash and cash equivalent at the end or at the closing. Okay, and what is included in cash and cash equivalent? Cash in hand and cash in bank and marketable security and current investment. These four will always be included in cash and cash equivalent. Okay, I hope you understood this step. We'll use this step to solve this question in the next video. Okay.